Hi everyone, I hope you all watched the previous videos. Let's start the session. Who has propounded the planetary laws? So here the answer is Kepler. Okay. Which of the following is used in powdered form as lubricant? Which of the following is used in powdered form as lubricant? So here the answer is graphite. Okay. Dry lubricants or solid lubricants are materials that despite being in the solid phase, are able to reduce friction between two surfaces, okay, sliding against each other without the need for a liquid oil medium. Okay, the two main dry lubricants are graphite and molybdenum. Okay, graphite and molybdenum disulfide. Sorry, graphite or molybdenum, molybdenum disulfide. Okay, di disulfide. Okay. So these two are the main dry lubricants. Okay, they offer lubricant at temperatures higher than liquid and oil-based lubricants operate. Okay, and dry lubricants are often used in applications such as blocks or dry lubricated bearings. Okay, what happens to the resistance of a PN junction diode when forward biased? That is, it becomes low. Okay, when a PN junction is a forward biased, the effective barrier potential reduces. Okay, so therefore the thickness of depletion layer also decreases. Okay, the junction resistance becomes very low. The holes from p region move to n side and electrons from n side move towards p side. Okay, the movement of holes and electrons constitute hole current and diffusion electron. Okay, the complete form of IC in electronic is, that is, integrated circuit. Okay, what is the advantage of parallel connection of circuit? One of the advantage of parallel circuit is that they ensure all components in the circuit have the same voltage as the source. Okay, so for instance, all bulbs in a string of lights have the same brightness. Okay, so here the answer is option A. A cannonball is fired. The motion of this ball is an example of. So easy question, that is projectile motion. Okay, cryogenic is a branch of physics that deals with. It is also a good question. That is very low temperatures. Okay, option B. Fluid friction is also known as, that is drag. Okay, in fluid dynamics, drag is a force acting opposite to the relative motion of any object moving with respect to the surrounding fluid. Okay, spring tides occurs when spring tides are especially strong tides. Okay, they occur when the earth and sun and the moon are in a line. Okay. So the gravitational forces of the moon and sun both contribute to the tides. So spring tides occurs during the full moon and the new moon time. Okay. So here the answer is the moon, the sun, and the earth are in a same line. Okay. Which of the following is true about a cyclic process? So here the options are the total heat absorbed equal to the work done by the system. And second one is the system returned to its initial state. So both A and B are correct. Okay. Name the instrument used for listening the sounds produced within the human body. That is stethoscope. Okay. Doppler's effect is related to. So here the answer is changing frequency of sound. Okay. Just look into the picture. Okay. The Doppler effect or Doppler shift is the change in frequency of a wave in relation to an observer who is moving relative to the wave source. Hence, the time between the arrival of successive wave crests at the observer is reduced, causing an increase in the frequency. Okay. Which of the following represents viscosity? So the answer is resistance to fluid motion. Okay. When is a PN diode said to be forward biased? A PN junction diode is said to be forward biased when the positive terminal of a cell or battery is connected to P side of the junction and the negative terminal to the N side. When diode is forward biased, the depletion region narrowed and consequently the potential barrier is lowered. Okay, so here the answer is when P side is connected to the positive terminal of the battery. That is option A. Magnetic effect of current gives rise to which force? That is mechanical force. Okay. Since a current carrying wire was able to deflect a compass needle, it was concluded that a current flowing in a wire always gives rise to a magnetic field around it. Okay. The importance of magnetic effect of current lies in the fact that it gives rise to mechanical forces. Rolling friction is always. Rolling friction must always be less than sliding friction. Okay, because in order for the object to roll, the force of friction between it and the surface must be large enough to keep the object from sliding. Okay, so here the answer is smaller than sliding friction. Okay, which one of the following represents the correct dimension of coefficient of viscosity? So here coefficient of viscosity mu equals to F into D by A into V. Okay, here mu is coefficient of viscosity. Okay, viscosity. F is the amount of force required to maintain the velocity gradient in between two consecutive layers of liquid per unit area. Okay, simply we will write force. Okay, F is force, A is area. Okay, A is area, D is distance. Okay, distance between two consecutive layers of liquid present over each other. Okay, V is a velocity. Okay, okay. So we will write individually and combine by combining the formula, we will get the dimensionless form. Okay, so force is in Newton, right? So kg meter per second square. Sorry, second. Kg meter per second square. Yes, second square only. So and d is distance, that is in L. We can write m in meters. Okay, you may get confused. That's why I'm writing fully. Okay, and here area is in meter square, right? That is L square. Okay, V is meter per second. Okay, so by combining these all, force is kg meter per second square into d is meter by av. A is meter square into meter year per second. Okay, so in the denominator value it will goes to top. Okay, so we will cancel, gets cancelled. Okay, here s square get cancelled, and here one is there. So kg per meter second, right? So kg means mass m, right? M1 in denominator, length and time are given. So L power minus 1, T power minus 1. Okay, so this is the answer. So M1 L power minus 1, T power minus 1 is the dimensional coefficient of viscosity. Okay, for what is Mohs scale? For what is Mohs scale? So here the answer is to measure hardness of minerals. Okay, what is the angle between centripetal acceleration and tangential acceleration? That is 90 degrees. Okay, you can see in the image, centripetal means along the circle radius, while tangential means along a line tangent to the circle. Okay, since the radius is normal or orthogonal to the tangent, the angle is 90 degrees or pi by 2 radians. Okay, motion of a train is an example of which kind of motion? That is translatory motion. Okay, if R is Rydberg constant, H is Planck's constant, C is velocity of light, then RHC has the same dimensional formula as the top. So here R equals to um, m power 0, L power minus 1, and T power 0. So here L power minus 1, okay, H equals to E equals to H nu, right? So H equals to energy by C by lambda. Okay, so m power 1, L power 2, T power minus 2, okay, divided by L T power minus 1 and L power minus 1. Okay, so here these two gets cancelled, right? So we'll write combine M1 L2 T minus 1. Okay, because this T is in denominator. Okay, don't get confused. This is the divide symbol. Okay, so H equals to M1 L2 T power minus 1 and C equals to M0 L T power minus 1. Okay, so therefore RHC equals to M1 L square T power minus 2. So this is same as the energy, right? So you can observe here. So energy formula is same as the RHC. Okay. Neap tides occurs when neap tides are especially weak tides. Okay, they occur when the gravitational forces of moon and the sun are perpendicular to one another. Okay, neap tides occur during quarter moons. Okay, so here the answer is the Earth is at right angles with the sun and moon. Okay, through which light cannot pass. That is book. Through the book, the light cannot pass. Right. The energy that generates wind comes from which source? So here answer is solar radiation. Okay. Wind is nothing but the form of moving air. Okay. It is caused by uneven heating of the Earth's surface by the sun. Hence the energy that generates wind comes from solar radiation. An electric fuse is based on the electric fuse is based on the heating effect of the current. Okay. Electric fuse has low melting point. So when high current flows through fuse wire, it heats it and melted and break down the electric circuit. Okay. On which of the following techniques photostat machine works? That is electrostatic image making. Okay. We have discussed it before. The rays parallel to the principal axis after refraction through a lens meets at a point called that is called focus. Okay. Work is always done on a body when work is done when the force is applied over a displacement parallel to the force. Okay, so here the answer is a force acts on the device that confirms the presence of electric charge. That is electroscope. Okay, which of the following powers the generator is stationary to produce electricity in a large powerhouse? That is coil. Okay, to provide the large amount of steady power demanded by modern societies, large power plants have been built. Most power plants make electricity with a machine called a generator. Okay, generators have two important parts: the rotor, which rotates, and the stator, which remains stationary. Okay, keep that in mind. Bakelite is a bakelite is a polymer made up of monomers phenol and formaldehyde. Okay, this phenol formaldehyde resin is a thermosetting polymer. Okay, so it is an insulator. In the conventional direction of current flow, the particles considered to be moving. So, the particles that carry charge through wires in a circuit are mobile electrons. The electric field direction within a circuit is, by definition, the direction that positive test charges are pushed. Thus, these negatively charged electrons move in the direction opposite the electric field. Okay, so here the answer is electrons. Okay, strength of an electromagnet depends upon, that is, number of turn in the wire. Okay, the strength of magnetic field produced by such an electromagnet depends on the number of coils of wire, the magnitude of the current, and the magnetic permeability of the core material. A strong field can be produced from a small current if a large number of turns of wire are used. Okay, which law states that the ratio of potential difference across a conductor to the current flowing through it is a constant, provided that its physical conditions, such as temperature, remain constant. So the answer is Ohm's law. Okay, Ohm's law states that the current through a conductor between 2 points is directly proportional to the voltage across the 2 points. Through which equipment human heartbeats are recorded and detected via graphics. That is cardiograph. Okay. The theory on which magnetism is explained. That is domain theory. Okay. The commercial unit of electrical energy is, that is, kilowatt hour. Okay. The intensity of any wave is proportional to which quantity? That is square of amplitude. Okay. Because a wave's intensity is proportional to amplitude square, the intensity of resulting wave is 4 times as great as in the individual waves. Okay. Who established the foundations of quantum theory? So here the answer is Max Planck. Okay. Where do the electric charges reside in a charged conductor? That is at the outer surface of the body. Since the electric field is zero inside the conductor, the mutual repulsion of like charges from Coulomb's law demands that the charges be as far apart as possible. Okay. Hence, on the surface of the conductor, the net electric charge of conductor resides entirely on its surface. Okay. It is difficult to fix a nail on a freely suspended wooden frame. Which law supports this statement? That is Newton's third law. When the wooden block is not resting against a support, the block and nail both move forward on being hit with a hammer. However, when the block is held firmly against a support and the nail is hit, an equal reaction of support drives the nail into the block. Right? So that's the Newton's third law. Okay. Each of the following refers to the superposition of two or more coherent waves to produce regions of maxima and minima in space according to the principle of superposition. Okay. So here the answer is interference. In physics, interference is a phenomenon in which two waves superpose to form a resultant wave of greater, lower, or the same amplitude. Okay. Interference effects can be observed with all type of waves. For example, light, radio, acoustic, surface water waves, gravity waves, or matter waves. Okay. What is the direction of torque? That is perpendicular to the direction of applied force. That is option A. Okay. Right hand rule or torque is inherently a vector quantity. Part of the torque calculation is the determination of direction. Okay. The direction is perpendicular to the both the radius from the axis and to the force. Okay. It is conventional to choose it in the right hand rule direction along the axis of rotation. Okay. The part of meteor which reaches the Earth's surface is called, that is a meteorite. The point where total mass of a body is supposed to be concentrated is known as, that is center of mass. What is measured with the nephometer? Okay, that is cloud volume and speed. What is the electric potential of neutral wire? That is 0 volt. Okay, how much electric potential does the live wire carries? That is 220 volts. Okay, the wire normally in red color, okay, that is connected to the phase conductor is called the phase wire or a live wire because it has a potential of 220 volt and gives a shock when touched with the bare hand. Okay, where do we use transformer? Power stations, radio sets, television. So all of the above. Okay, which of the following part is not there in a AC generator? That is commutator. Okay,